in my mind is like, what is it though that capitalism or whatever it is that we're living right now seems to be bringing that the community is lacking?
Safety that we all have, like we all seeking safety on a shelter. If we can find that safety not in the money, that is just a perception of safety, because it's not safe, because things can happen. But if we can get back to finding that safety in ourselves, because that's the only place that we know we have for that period of life.
Why did you leave that community?
Why did I leave?
Yeah, why didn't you stay?
Because I still had time for my journey years, but I'm gonna go back.
Okay, that's how you want to live. That's
Yeah,
how
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. At one point in my life, maybe.
You think that's perfect? That has everything you need.
I think it's a really great concept. Yeah.
Okay.
It's maybe not the perfect concept, and maybe it's not the concept for like everyone and for the entire future, but for a period of my life, I think it's a super nice way, and it combines, like I said, a lot of things. Like you can have that anarchistic society where you don't have the hierarchies and be self-sustained. We don't have to. Yeah, we don't need the state then anymore. Because like. We can provide for ourselves, and we can provide for our community, and we can even educate each other or get people that educate our children and stuff like that. Okay. So that for me is that concept. But yeah, what's the reason? What's the reason for the capitalistic system to
be more appealing?
Yeah.
And a place where everybody helps each other, everybody's nice to each other, your kids are safe. You know what I mean? It just sounds so good. Maybe
it's also that topic that safety topic, because money creates the imagination of safety, let's say. Because if you have money, you have the feeling that you're safe, because you can provide for yourself, you can, until you come to a point where, I don't know, the system breaks down, then your money. I mean, if everyone stops believing in money, I mean, that's the only reason why money is working, because everyone believes in it. If there is something would happen that makes us stop believe in money,
that's true. Money would not have any value.
That safety, that perception of safetiness that you would have from that money just vaporizes.
Cool.
And I think that's something that just comes up now.
No, I love that.
Yeah,
because
I
really think
that is that kind of safety, that feeling, that urge of safety that we all have. Like we all seeking safety and shelter, But yeah, if we can find that safety not in the money, that is just a perception of safety, because it's not safe, because things can happen. But if we can get back to finding that safety in ourselves, because that's the only place that we know we have for that period of life.
That's where I was going to go to.
If we can make that place back to our safe space, to the home that is here, that is what we are born with, and that we are having to live in every day. If we can make ourselves feel comfortable in that way, and it's also something that I've experienced over that period of traveling. I mean, super cliche.
Go.
It's super cliche to home is where your heart is and that kind of stuff, but it is actually kind of true. Like, I feel really at home and I'm always continuing to feeling really good, also being with myself and having that space within myself that I can call home, and this is how like the place where my heart is, and then
where you are in your body.
Yes, and then being okay with that and being there and being present, then maybe that perception of or that seeking of safety is becoming less and that could maybe start the change, and that could maybe loosen that tight vessel that we have.
You know, the last conversation I had, let me just take the music.
Yeah.
It was about like how experience creates, the bigger your experience, the bigger your consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And consciousness is in, you know, conscious of the self, consciousness of being, and a little bit what we're talking about, being good with yourself and coming back to your body.
Yeah.
And I think literally our world has been shaped by people that had more experience, and they realized that other people were so scared to be in their bodies, and they were like younger souls, or, you know, living life in more fear, that they set the rules because they had more experience, and therefore they were more consciousness beings, and we just followed that without questioning. So everything, every system that was built, everything that was sort of, you know, why things are the way they are is because people who had more consciousness decided and realized that it could work like that. But not in like with the evil intention or anything. It's just because their experience was like, oh, I'm gonna be able to make this work.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. It's funny, I thought about that topic.
You
today.
did?
Yes.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I thought like, and I can super relate with that the more experiences you make, the more the bigger the consciousness gets, for sure. Because, and that's something I found really interesting, and that it brings us back to that topic of society, that not everyone has the chance to make the same experiences. And that's what, because we said we're privileged, right?
Yes.
Because we have a lot of chances that we can take
And
that
to
bring
live.
us to live really freely, that bring us the opportunity to make a lot of experiences. By that, we can gain more consciousness, right? And so that's something I think also really important, to create the equality of chances that we give people. Like providing people the chance to feel safe, have housing, food, all that stuff, so they have the same chance to then make the experiences.
So that's gonna level up the consciousness of the world
Yeah.
if we do that.
Yeah.
Oof. Because that's one thing I talk about in almost every conversation, that there's a problem that it's almost 70% of the people are in conscious level 1. I don't know if you've heard of level 1, 2, 3, and 4.
No, I haven't heard, but
you can tell?
For sure.
Level 1,
yes, yeah.
you've never really questioned,
Yes.
you're a victim. Level 2, you start to realize that your thoughts. Level 3, you meditate, you kind of get to like, okay, maybe like kind of you and I are, like you thought about it and you made it happen. And level 4 is when you like see colors and you can perceive like your world is with the colors and with the senses and the colors sort of. What I've heard is that the colors guide you. Like if you want an emotion more towards that kind of color, that's where you go.
Yeah.
But there's no, and you don't have any desires. You just do as you're told.
You just live. You just be.
Yeah.
Just be as.
And to really purpose the.
How's it called in English? Like enlightenment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, enlightenment. Yeah.
But when I heard this was from a guy that he calls it the 4 levels of consciousness, and the first one he just calls it the creator of all. But anyway, so that's amazing what you just said, because basically that can help people, maybe people who are on this mission to sort of help others to raise their vibration. It's not just meditation, maybe it's really that safety that you're talking about, and that
I don't know, for some reason that is.
it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and that's like a topic that has been present. I don't know, in the last couple of weeks, so that's maybe why I'm talking about it so much.
But did something happen that made you?
No, nothing. No. But it's just something that I've realized, that this feeling of being safe, can have a big impact on you.
Cool.
And also this perception of safety in general, that gives us a hold in this unsteady world. So but I think that I think would make a big difference, to give people the chance, like a basic foundation, so they don't have to seek for this safety and for this basic needs, to then make experiences that they can lift up to that second level of consciousness and not having to be stuck.
And so worried about the money or eating.
Yes. And I think one really amazing concept, I don't know if it's being discussed in Spain or Portugal as well, but in Germany there is a discussion about it. It's like the unconditional income, I think it's called.
Everybody receives
everyone receives an unconditional amount of money. No matter what they do, no matter what they do, no matter what they come from. So they get like this X amount of money that more or less covers, or you can do whatever with it, but more or less covers living and food. And from that point on, you can do everything what you want on top. And that's something I think.
And how much are we talking about? Do you know?
I think
is it 100 or 700?
No, more like 1,000 euros.
Oh wow!
And it would be possible. Like there are calculations of people that it is possible that we have as a society or as a country, and Germany, we have the money to give like every person.
Germany as a country could give. Wow! With how much taxes you pay right now, without like making it much higher?
I don't think so. No. Because it was
So where has all this money been?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, of course, there has to a lot of different ways of thinking have to happen.
Okay, like so some stuff has to change.
Has to change.
Like what? Do you know?
No, I'm not. Like it's been a while.
No, it's okay. But it's interesting. Like maybe like.
Yeah.
Money for certain things.
Yeah, for sure.
Have to go down.
Because like then we also lose the necessity of spending money for people not having work, and then it transfers.
Oh.
Because then you don't need to go in and ask for social support, because everyone is getting that, and then it's like.
Oh my god! And the amount of money that goes to that, it's insane.
Yeah,
social shelters and stuff like.
Yeah, there's a lot of money, and it is being.
So that has been calculated already.
I think so. Yeah.
Do you know the name of that? Like the study or.
You can look it up.
True, I can look it up.
Yeah, it is unconditional. Yeah, unconditional income, I think. It's the main topic.
Cool.
Yeah, and there already been case studies in Switzerland, for example, where they tried it on a smaller scale, like in a small village, and it works. And it also, because the critics say, okay, but then everyone is getting lazy and no one does anything. But then it's beautiful because we come back to what you said before. The people want to be productive. The people want to do something. They want to live. They want to give back in some form. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be like that. Everyone has to work, but everyone wants to do something. And
to contribute for society.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this could be a really nice chance, I think.
No, that was just wow.
When we have that unconditional income, so we have a certain amount of money that we always have. So the desire of people gaining more money and keeping that money is becoming less. And what's the best for society is people spending money, because because the money needs to go around. And it is really important that the money is not stuck with the 2% of really, really wealthy people, or like I don't know how much percent, like the multi-rich people. So what is and on a bigger scale, if we can manage to get that thinking out of the mind that we have to get hold of the money, and that's what we do when we give people like an unlimited amount of money, and that makes the money. Now we're talking about money theory, but that makes the money super stable because the chances of inflation that we are having right now
I was going to
is
ask you
becoming
that,
less.
actually.
Yeah.
But don't you think with that unconditional income, my question was immediately, but that's going to make inflation go even higher. But no.
Yeah, because then we don't have the necessity to save the money, so the money is like really is spent more easily, and so that creates a lot of money, like a lot of cash flow, and that is I'm not super good at this in this theory, but if the money is going around a lot, it causes Is it that way? I don't know.
No, it sounds right.
Yeah.
The more it circulates, the
Yeah,
more it spreads, probably.
And then it loses, that causes the money because then a lot of products get produced and a lot of investment can be taken, and that causes the how to say the sins. Fuck. How to
the
say it?
sins.
No. The percentage of like when you get a loan.
Oh, the interest rates.
Yeah, the interest rates. That lowers that.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the money just flows better?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a top.
Yeah, I cannot get there. My mind does not get there.
Yeah.
How the interest rate, maybe if I think a little bit, how the interest rate can be lower. Because I don't know what the interest rate depends on. Oh, it depends on inflation, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Then if inflation is lower, the interest rate is lower.
Yeah. And it makes it more stable. But that's just money theory. I don't know.
So there.
How I ended up there.
So, but it's beautiful. But the more, basically, it's so beautiful because it resonates with the spiritual principle that the more you give, the more it will not necessarily receive, but because you don't directly receive, you just receive for the greater good.
On the long haul, you receive.
No, so that's why maybe it's so hard for people to see this principle because.
Then if we can.
Are you checking out? No.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was just if I had to do something. No, go and be live your life. Well, these people have to put like a blur in their face or something. But I don't think you should have.
Problem. I think a lot of people are drawn into having like a list, having numbers that you can look up on and see. Okay, this is the amount that we made and measure it in a scientific kind of way. But like you say, if we can, but then also if we can manage to create that another level of consciousness, I think there, if we arrive at a higher state of consciousness, then we can maybe see the benefits of those more.
So these like numbers and these lists,
that they're
gonna fade away.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna see that this is so much better.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you wanna get
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No, but I think. Look, we are 1 hour and 12.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love it though. I'm gonna stop it.
Yeah, stop it.